Hello YouTube and welcome back for another video. We got an announcement from Fantasy Flight Games today about the new Galactic Republic Fleet Starter Set, and to be honest, it looks really exciting. We got a look at the Acclimator, the Torrent Fighters, some commanders and upgrade cards, and I just wanted to take you through, go through the cards, and give you my thoughts on all these different ships and upgrade cards. So to start off with, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, a commander for the Galactic Republic. While a friendly ship is defending, when it spends a readied redirect token, it may reduce the total damage by 1 before it suffers damage. This is a very strong card, because it means that if you're defending against a squadron, you spend the redirect token, but instead of losing a shield on an adjacent hull zone, you just don't take the damage. What's more, it also means that if you have no shields left, then your redirect tokens are not useless. Still keep them around, don't discard them or anything, because this means that they'll still be reducing the damage by 1, even if you don't have a way to refresh your defense tokens. That's still, 1 less damage you take each turn. That's not insignificant. Now, if you notice, some of you are probably looking at this and noticing, hey, this wording seems a little familiar to me. Where have I seen this before? Expert Shield Text. The difference between Expert Shield Text and Obi-Wan Kenobi, other than the fact that Kenobi is a commander that affects all ships, other than just an officer that affects one, is the line at the bottom here. Instead of resolving that token's effect, with Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you take, say, 3 damage from an attack, you can spend the redirect token, reduce it by 1 to 2, and then redirect that 2 damage to an adjacent hull zone on the shields. So this is a very, very solid commander. Makes your ships a lot more survivable, and that's going to be a running theme here, as we're going to see with other Galactic Republic upgrade cards and commanders. The other commander that was revealed to us is Bail Organa. When a friendly ship reveals a command, you may discard up to 1 token of each type from this card. For each token that you discard, that ship gains 1 additional command dial, matching that token's type. Now, initially I looked at this card and I thought, this just seems like a dollar store Grand Admiral Thrawn. Why would I want to knock off Grand Admiral Thrawn? But then I noticed this wording, 1 token of each type, which means that theoretically here, you can discard a Navigate token and an Engineering token, and then one of your ships can then execute 3 different command dials when it activates. Is that strong? Yeah, that's really strong. If you, say, have an Acclimator that's unfortunately in the front arc of an ISD that just got punched, you spend a Navigate command, an Engineering command, and then whatever other command dial it had, and all of a sudden it's out of danger, healed up, and ready to hit that ISD back. 28 points, yeah, this definitely seems like a very, very strong commander to me. I'm very excited to see how Bail Organa works. We also got to see both variants of the Acclimator assault ship. Both ships have command and squadron values of 3, 7 hull, 4 shields in the front arc, 2 shields everywhere else, identical defense tokens, brace, redirect, salvo, and then identical maneuverability. Maneuverability it's pretty lackluster, to be honest. It's a good thing that Bail Organa is a commander, making sure that they've got a Navigate dial to spend, because they're definitely going to need it. Let's start by looking at the Acclimator 1. It has an officer slot, a weapons team slot, 2 offensive retrofit slots, an ordnance slot, and a turbo laser retrofit slot. Now, just looking at those upgrade slots, not looking at the firing arcs at all, I see a squadron ship right here. This is a ship at 66 points is great for pushing squadrons. It's not too expensive. It's got an ordnance slot that you can throw, say, external racks in if someone gets too close. Yeah, this is a great ship to push squadrons from. The Acclimator 2, on the other hand, this appears to be a ship definitely made more to engage enemy capital ships, less to push squadrons. It has an officer slot, an weapons team slot, a defensive retrofit slot, an ordnance slot, and a turbo laser slot. Now, what's the difference between the two, other than the internal compartments? Well, the Acclimator 2 has 1 more blue dice in its front arc than the Acclimator 1, and the Acclimator 2 replaces the black dice from the Acclimator 1's rear arc with a blue dice. And then it also replaces one of its black flak dice with the blue flak dice. Is this a good upgrade? Well, it's only 5 points more expensive, and you're getting a much more durable, much stronger, harder hitting ship. Yeah, it is just one blue dice, but again, blue dice have a 1 in 4 chance of getting an accuracy and a 1 in 4 chance of getting a critical effect. Yes, definitely worth a 5-point upgrade there. Obviously not what you're going to be taking when you need to push squadrons, but when you need a frontline capital ship to engage enemy capital ships, Acclimator 2 will definitely fill that role, I feel. Next, we've got the V-19 Torrent Squadron that we're getting in the expansion. V-19 Torrent, it has a movement of 3, 5 hull, anti-squadron of 1 red, 2 blue, and then an anti-ship of 1 black. Fairly standard as things go, though usually you don't see red anti-squadron dice, but hey, that's interesting. It has Escort and Swarm. Now, Escort and Swarm, as I recall, has not been a combination of effects that we've seen on squadrons before. And 3 movement, 5 hull at 12 points. Yeah, this is a strong little squadron. Very, very good. Very support-oriented. It's not a very hard-hitting squadron. 1 red, 2 blue is not going to be doing a ton against enemy squadrons. But at 12 points, 5 hull, it'll take your opponent a while to chew through these things. V-19s are especially difficult to chew through when we look at Axe, the V-19 Torrent Ace Squadron. Before another friendly squadron at distance 1 suffers damage during an attack, you may spend 1 defense token to reduce the total damage by 1. Wow. It's almost like a combination of Jan Ors and Biggs Darklighter. Still has the same V-19 loadout here, 3 movement, 5 hull, 1 red, 2 blue anti-squadron, 1 black anti-ship, Escort, Swarm. But what's interesting are his defense tokens here, a brace and an evade. We have not seen an evade on a squadron before as a defense token. And kind of niche, unless someone is hitting you with a squadron with snipe or is flacking you out of a ship, evade really won't do much, but it is very interesting, and there are some very, very interesting situations where evade will come into play. Also, at 17 points for spending a defense token to reduce the damage by 1, yeah, that's a great 5-point upgrade on a V-19 Torrent Squadron. Absolutely. Axe looks amazing. Next, we were shown Hyperspace Rings. This is an offensive retrofit, and as you can see in the corner here, this can only be used on Galactic Republic ships, from the Galactic Republic symbol there. But for deploying fleets, you may choose a number of friendly non-rogue squadrons from up to your squadron value. Those squadrons gain Scout. What is Scout? Well, Scout means that squadrons can be set up outside of your deployment zone anywhere on the board, so long as they are not within distance 1 to 5 of enemy ships. Now, looking at Axe that we just covered there, you can put with an Acclimator 1, Axe and 2 V-19 Torrent Squadrons anywhere on the board, and now all of a sudden your opponent's going to have to chew through those squadrons sooner rather than later. You get them in close, you can move them in and disrupt your opponent's squadron game very effectively. Hyperspace Rings at 3 points, yeah, that's definitely a very, very strong upgrade in my opinion. But again, this is only for Galactic Republic ships, and they cannot have Rogue, which absolutely makes sense to me because sending your squadrons in to attack the enemy turn 1 is kind of stupid and overpowered. We also have a new defensive retrofit upgrade, Reactive Gunnery. While defending, you may exhaust this card and spend a ready defense token to resolve the salvo defense effect instead of that token's effect. You cannot resolve the salvo defense effect more than once per attack. 4 points, and it automatically resets itself after you exhaust it. Is this strong? Yes, absolutely. Let's say you get hit for 2 damage or something, and you've got 2 or 3 shields, or maybe there isn't a critical effect there, so you don't mind taking 1 damage on the hull. So instead of redirecting, you use Reactive Gunnery to salvo them back. Yeah, 4 points to basically give your ship a salvo in terms of a defensive retrofit slot. Yeah, I really like this card. And you'll notice in the corner here, There's no symbol to denote it as exclusive to either the Galactic Republic or the Confederacy of Independent Systems, despite the fact that that's clearly a battle droid helping load some sort of starship cannon there. So, in theory, then, you could put this on, say, an MC-80 assault cruiser with its 2 defensive retrofit slots and make it even more prickly. Yeah, I really, really like how this card looks. We're also shown a turbo laser retrofit called Swivel Mount Batteries. When you reveal the command, you may exhaust this card to choose one of your hull zones and mark it with a focus token. While attacking a ship from that hull zone, add 1 die of any color from an adjacent hull zone's armament to your attack pool. While attacking from adjacent hull zones, remove 1 die from your attack pool. When you ready this card, remove the focus token. Okay, a lot of things to unpack here, so let's take them one at a time. First, it's a modification. You can only have 1 of these per ship. 2, it is an exhaust card, but it is an exhaust card that you need to spend a concentrate fire token in order to ready. After you exhaust it, you need to spend a concentrate fire token to unexhaust it. Third, it is exclusive to both the Galactic Republic and the Confederacy of Independent Systems. It cannot be used by either the Empire or the Rebels. Now, initially you may be thinking that last one may seem a little weird, right? Why would you only limit it to the Confederacy or to the Republic? Admiral Akbar. That's why. How often do you shoot out of your front arc with an MC-80 when you're running an Akbar list? Hardly at all. How important is an extra dice, like a blue dice, at long range guaranteed with swivel mount batteries in an Admiral Akbar list? Really friggin' important. So I absolutely understand that. And it's really cool that when you fire from the adjacent hull zones, you have to remove a dice, kind of showing that those turrets have swiveled over to the other side. Really, really like the flavor with this card, and it looks really, really interesting to me. Especially in something like an Acclimator, which, as we've seen, has that really, really large, really heavily armed front arc. This could definitely be a really cool upgrade to put on an Acclimator to give that extra little punch in the front arc. Very, very cool. We're also shown Clone Captain Zack, a unique officer card. While attacking from your side or rear hull zones, you may exhaust this card to add 1 die to your attack pool of a color already in your attack pool. You cannot add dice to a salvo attack, and you can spend tokens from this card to ready it. So, 2 things to note here. 1, as you can see on the right, you need to spend a concentrate fire token in order to ready Clone Captain Zack. But the Clone Captain Zack also comes with a concentrate fire token already on him. So effectively, you get to ready him once for free. The other times, you will have to spend some pre-existing concentrate fire tokens that you saved up on your ship in order to ready him. At 5 points, getting to throw an extra red dice at long range is pretty strong. The only thing of note here is this is only from the side or rear hull zones. So the massive front arc of an Acclimator, maybe not the best suited ship for the Clone Captain here. But still, very, very interesting. One last thing to note here, this is a unique officer, so as you'd imagine, it is exclusive to the Galactic Republic. You can't use them on any CIS or Empire or Rebel fleets. The next card we got to see was Clone Gunners. You may discard 1 concentrate fire token assigned to another friendly ship at distance 1 to 5 of the defender. If you do, add 1 blue die set to the accuracy icon to your attack pool. Couple things here. This is a weapons team upgrade, and it is exclusive to the Galactic Republic, as you can see from the little symbol there. That absolutely makes sense because it's Clone Gunners. You wouldn't put this in a Rebel ship. The Rebels don't have clones. Second is Clone Only. This is part of the keyword mechanic that they're introducing, where certain ships have keywords and certain upgrades can only be put on ships with those keywords. So, the Acclimator, as we saw earlier, has that clone keyword, so it can run Clone Gunners. Other Republic ships may not have the clone keyword, and so cannot run Clone Gunners. We'll have to see. But at 4 points, this is definitely a very, very strong upgrade. Is it stronger for me than something like, say, gunnery teams? I don't know yet. Maybe you run this on, say, an Acclimator 1 when you're pushing squadrons if you don't want to run flight controllers. I don't know, but 4 points, it is very cheap and definitely worth looking at. And finally, let's end by looking at the 2 title cards we were shown for the Acclimator. The first is Navuta B, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Each non-unique squadron that you activate gains Swarm until the end of its activation. Each squadron with Swarm that you activate may reroll 1 die while attacking a ship. This is a 5-point title card, and it's giving friendly squadrons Swarm. Giving them that reroll potential is great. This looks like an auto-include on any Acclimator 1 that's going to be a squadron pusher. This just looks like a really, really strong title card to me. And finally, the last upgrade card we were shown is Implacable. Before a friendly ship or squadron at distance 1 to 2 suffers damage from an attack, you may exhaust this card and spend up to 2 shields from your front hull zone to reduce the total damage by that amount. Very, very flavorful title, I feel. You can see by the picture here, it's effectively an Acclimator coming in to shield friendly ships and squadrons from enemy fire. Very flavorful, and it also sort of plays like old school Gallant Guppy. For those of you that don't know what old school Gallant Guppy was, or don't know what I mean when I say Gallant Guppy, that's where you take an Assault Frigate Mark II-B for the Rebel Alliance and give it the Gallant Haven title. Currently, Gallant Haven reduces damage by 1 to a minimum of 1 on squadrons. Old school Gallant Haven reduced damage by 1, minimum of 0. You could take theoretically 0 damage on a squadron if it was within range of Gallant Haven, if it only took 1 damage from an attack. Implacable can do that up to 2 damage, but you have to take it on the shields. So, is it as good as old school Gallant Haven? No, not in my opinion, but old school Gallant Haven was nerfed for a reason. So yeah, this is definitely a very good title card, especially at 4 points. At 4 points, this could be something you throw on the ship just to give yourself an option, which, totally fine. Plus, you notice it's friendly ships or squadrons at distance 1 to 2, so if your opponent says, hey, I'm going to try and delete that consular next to you, Implacable can be there and shield it from enemy fire, as the flavor would imply. So, very, very cool card. So that about wraps this video up. Apparently this is a big Armada news week where we're getting a ton of information on not only the Galactic Republic fleet starter, but also the Separatists starter pack, along with the errated upgrade card expansion pack. Very, very excited to see what we get there. And when we get that information, I'll of course make videos talking about them, giving you my opinion. Until then, though, like, comment, subscribe, you know, the whole standard YouTube spiel, and I'll see you next time.